Alright guys, hopefully you can hear me now. My mic is doing some weird things. My camera is doing some weird things. I'm not sure what's going on with my camera, so... Oh my goodness. We're just gonna roll with it, okay? So give me a hot second, guys, as I do some quick adjustments. This is so bootleg. Many apologies. I thought it would reset from last night, but it occurs to me that I unplugged it. So let's get some heat in here. There we go. Is that a little bit better? Okay. We're gonna let it ride. I think we are. Good morning. It's Saturday. I hope your day is going swimmingly. I hope it's off to an awesome start. All that good jazz. You know the deal. I finally have some water again. Grab some water. Chug a lug. Boop. Make sure you hit like when you're done. And it's decent tasting water at that. I love water, but I don't know that I'll ever buy that other brand again. Y'all know I'm a water snob. Okay, let's dive in. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my phone here. I'm just making sure that we're streaming. My internet connection is a little spotty, but we're going to just roll with it, guys. So thank you for bearing with me and your patience and all that good jazz. Thank you, God. Thank you to our angels. Thank you to our guides for all the amazing direction, the clear and concise messages you've been giving us, and all the clarity. We thank you that for all the understanding you've been bringing us and helping us to recognize within ourselves. We ask that you continue to bless our readings and make them applicable so that everyone who hears this can understand what exactly it is that you have for their lives, and also that they be blessed by it abundantly. And all these many wonderful things we ask in unconditional love. Amen. All right, y'all, let's dive in. This morning, yeah, me and my angels, we have a special relationship, and I think we're going to continue to talk to our angels for a little bit. Thank you, angels. Woo, okay. What is it you have for the Saturday Goddess Realm? And you know, guys, one of the things I was thinking about doing, we haven't done this in a long time. I was thinking about doing a 7-card spread today. Ooh, there's 2. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Thank you, archangels. What do you have for the Goddess Realm today? There's 3. Just a moment, guys. Mommy? Okay. Sorry, guys, there's somebody at the door. Who is it? Thank you, archangels. Thank you, archangels. I'm sorry, guys. My mom just moved into this place, so her neighbors are actually coming by to give her a welcome. Thank you, archangel. Ooh, hello. What do we have? We have 4. Thank you, archangels. What is it that you have for the Goddess Realm today? What is it you have for the Goddess Realm today? There's 5. Thank you. There's 6. One more, guys. We might get 8. No, okay. This one. Okay. So, bear with me. I have to talk just a little bit quiet. Okay. So, in the 7-card spread, and I don't have my other camera set up, so normally I could put the words at the bottom of the screen, so you guys are going to have to kind of work with me on this one. But our first card represents you or your life. Excuse me, what it represents is you or your strength, okay? And hopefully you can hear me, okay? Peace and blessings, Aisha. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Okay, so overcoming difficulties. Again, this represents you or your strength. Archangel Jeremiah, the worst is now behind you. You are surmounting any previous challenges. The worst is now behind you. You are surmounting any previous challenges. Now, I don't know about you, that's a pretty awesome message. Our next card represents your life. Sorry, I'm trying to, so I don't talk too loud while she's talking. Archangel Sandalphon. We angels bring you gifts from your Creator. Open your arms to receive. We angels bring you gifts from your Creator. Open your arms to receive. And again, your second card represents your life. So open your arms, open your heart, and receive the gifts from your Creator. Our third card, and our third message comes from Archangel Michael. And this is something that supports your happiness. Archangel Michael and I, we have a special relationship. I am protecting you against lower energies and guarding you, your loved ones, in your home. Again, this is something that supports your happiness. Know that you are safe. Feel that you are safe. I am protecting you. I'm protecting you against lower energies and guarding you, your loved ones, and your home. And the thing that I love in particular is, again, this comes right after overcoming difficulties. So one of the things that really stands out right away is when we overcome difficulties, or maybe we've gone through things long term or long period, we get accustomed to thinking a certain kind of way, right? We get accustomed to being on the defensive, maybe necessarily, maybe unnecessarily. But understanding that you're safe. You're safe. You can relax your mind. You don't have to approach everything and everyone from the defensive, right? Because again, you're opening up your heart to receive the gifts from God. Sometimes it is a scary thing when you're accustomed to being so closed in. It can be terrifying to open up your heart. It can be terrifying even to open up your mind. So understand that you're safe, you're being protected against lower energies, not only you, but your house and your loved ones. So it's important that we are doing the things that support that, are allowing ourselves to feel that love and feel that safety. Amber, good morning, love and light to you. Speaks volumes, she said, wide open. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so our fourth card usually represents, normally I would say it is something we need to overcome, an obstacle, but the word I'm hearing today is restriction. So this fourth card is something that is a restriction within us that we perhaps need to work on, okay? Archangel Raphael, breathe. Take several deep breaths and exhale slowly to awaken your energy and release old patterns. Wow, guys. Didn't we just talk about letting go of old mindsets, old feelings? Take several deep breaths and exhale slowly to awaken your energy and release old patterns. Are y'all familiar with breath work? I need to put together a breath work meditation, I think, coming soon. I need to do that. I love breath work. And the one thing in particular that I've come to recognize about breath work within my body is that it explodes my meditation from like 2 to 10. So the thing in particular that I'm hearing from this card is several deep breaths. So this is something you want to be doing continually. We don't just want to call it done. Again, making sure we're breathing down into our diaphragm, stick the stomach out. But also taking several deep breaths and exhale slowly to awaken your energy and to release old patterns. Now this is something I learned from, who did I learn this from? This is a sidebar, guys. This is a total sidebar. It was from either pharmacist Ben Fuchs or it was from Dr. What is his name? Peter Glidden. They're both into medical nutrition. Love them, follow them dearly. But one of the things that I learned about was for people who deal with, for lack of a pretty word, constipation. A lot of times, obviously staying hydrated, eating the appropriate foods will help with that. But taking several deep breaths, and in particular, releasing on the exhalation slowly, it will actually help people to get their bowels to move. Okay, that's a sidebar. I know it's a random sidebar. I have experimented with that. It does work. Fortunately, it's not something I have to deal with often, but it's neither here nor there. So I also, the reason I say that is because exhaling slowly to release old patterns. Hopefully that'll focus. Sorry, guys. So to release old patterns. So again, this is something that maybe you're holding on to, or you're like, how do I release? How do I let go? How do I open up my heart, overcome these difficulties, open my heart to receive my gifts? And how do I start to feel safe? We take deep breaths to release those old patterns, okay? Breathwork meditation is amazing. You talk about doing some activations. All right, so our next card is a message from your angels. Y'all know how much I love this card, and there's so many things about this card, but that's details. I'm just gonna check my phone here. All right, so Archangel Haniel, trust and follow. Trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and your career. Trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and your career. Now, for some of you, these are going to be very literal. Your love life, maybe, your romantic life, but also possibly your career, getting back into doing the thing that you love. Maybe you got away from it. Maybe you had to stop doing it in order to, quote unquote, survive. But understand that now that you've overcome your difficulties in life, now that you have gifts from God, now that you are protected and you're safe, and now that you're doing that deep breath work and that activation meditation, now you can begin to trust and follow. Trust, number one. Follow, number two. Your renewed passion in your love life and your career. Get back to the thing that it is that you know you love to do. Now is the time. Now's the time. Now's the time. Now's the time. Guys, I stress this so much because we are not, literally right before I went live, I was watching a video, a Nova documentary on Netflix, and they were talking, this particular one was about diamonds, and just, they broke down the science of them, and, it wasn't about so much the money aspect, but my point to all of that is, a lot of the Earth's elements are within us. We are not separate from this earth. We come from this earth. We are interrelated to this earth. You ever notice how when you eat foods that come from the earth, you by default get healthy? But when you eat the stuff you're getting, when you eat the stuff that comes from the packages, that your body starts to gain weight, you get sluggish, you get tired, blah, 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 blah. So again, what I want to recognize is with this trust and follow is that we need to move with the energy at hand now, right? While things are happening on this earth, you need to take advantage of the energy that's here. It's not to say that you can't trust and follow later, but you are being divinely guided to get back to what it is that you love, that renewed passion. Sometimes things in life happen and life can beat us up from time to time, right? And then we go into that mindset of, I have to do this because I've got to pay bills, I've got to take care of my kids, I've got to put food on the table, I've got to put a roof over my head. You're being told those hard times are over. The hard times are over. Open up your heart, receive your gifts from God. You're protected. Not only you, but your household and your loved ones are protected from lower energies. And all you have to do is overcome that restriction. Get into your deep breathing. Allow your breath to flow. Understanding it helps your energy to begin to flow. And when you do that, next step. And this is why I'm so glad we're doing a 7-card reading. We haven't done this in 2 months, guys, and that's my bad. Maybe not quite that long. But again, from your angels are telling you, just trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and your career. For some of you, your love life and your career are one and the same. That's okay. Trust and follow your renewed passion in it. Get back to what it is that you love, that you know that you are here to do, because you have gifts from God that are just waiting for you. But you got to open and do the things that you need to do to receive, right? So this message is from your guides. This is the second time we've gotten this card this week. We rarely get this card. Since like what, March? This is maybe the third time we've gotten this card, twice this week alone. Brilliant idea, Archangel Uriel. Yes, keyword yes. Your idea is divinely guided. Please take action and bring your idea into fruition. Yes, that idea that you're thinking, some of you were just sitting here like, okay, my renewed passion, is this what you're talking about? Yes. Yes. Trust and follow it. Archangel Uriel's telling us, your idea is divinely guided. Please take action to bring your idea into fruition. So guys, sometimes we like to say we trust and follow, we believe, but we gotta act. We must act. Take those steps forward. All right? Brilliant idea. That thing that's been nagging at you, that idea that popped in your head and you're like, this is kind of cool. I wonder if, and you start feeling a little bit excited about it. Maybe your heart starts to beat a little bit, or you find you're kind of daydreaming about it. You can see all these endless possibilities. Yes! Your idea is divinely guided. It's divinely guided. Please take action to bring your idea into fruition. Meaning, move, act, get up and go. Don't just sit and talk about it. Be about it. Right? Now, this message comes from our heart. And bear with me, my leg is like, yikes. Oh, we're just going to stretch that one out. Okay, we're good now. Archangel Zadkiel. And I love this one, guys. This card used to kind of, I was like, what do you mean? But we, those of you who've been with me for the past several months, you know this is a card we've been getting routinely, especially as we've been guided to move closer or further and further into our life purpose. Archangel Zadkiel, teaching and learning. Keep an open mind and learn new ideas. Then teach these ideas to others. Keep an open mind. Learn new ideas. And then teach these ideas to others. Teaching and learning. Teaching and learning. So, one of the things that I want to clarify about teaching and learning is I don't want you to feel like that has to be in a formal setting, right? It could be in passing. When someone says, hey, I haven't talked to you for a while, how's it been going? If you've learned something about your life and how to approach life and how to better cope with situations, that's your perfect opportunity to say, you know what, things are going great. I was a little sketchy there for a minute, but I learned X, Y, and Z about myself and da-da-da-da-da, and now I find that when I focus in this direction, I flourish. It doesn't have to be anything formal. Maybe you're getting new ideas and teaching those to your children. When you teach your children, you empower the world, because, you know, it's one thing when we learn something ourselves and, you know, we try and apply it to ourselves, but when we teach it to others, it goes out exponentially. Your kids can teach their friends with, you know, because by default as kids, our kids follow us, right? I always give the example of one time years ago when I was first married, my husband said, babe, why do you put a little splash of milk in the eggs? And I was like, because my mom did. You know, we do things by default that we learned from our parents, and then we go and we put those things out into the world. So as you're learning new experiences, learning new ideas, sharing those with your children, it by default becomes a part of their nature. They go and put that out in the world, which goes on and on and on and on and on. All right. So teaching and learning, understanding that the things that you're learning, especially as you've overcome these difficulties, as you have already overcome these difficulties, you're in a prime position to teach, not only to continue to learn from those difficulties, but to teach others, to help others understand what it is, because they're guaranteed, if you are going through it, guaranteed millions of other people are going through it too. We make the mistake, our ego gets bruised and hurt and it experiences pain and trauma, and we make the sometimes detrimental mistake of thinking we're alone, of thinking no one else understands. But that's not the case. Number one, we are never, ever alone. We are all connected to the infinite. We are all a part of the I Am. If you are feeling something, I guarantee there are far too many souls on this earth for you to be alone. Some people just fake it a lot better than others, guys, and that's the real truth. You never know what's going on behind closed doors. So don't ever isolate yourself thinking that you are alone. Number one, you are never alone. If, for that matter, your angels are always around you at all times. Your guides are always around you at all times. You are connected to God at all times. So please don't let your earthly thinking, that bruised, hurt, scared, insecure ego, to allow you to crawl off and be like, I'm alone, nobody understands. Trust me, people understand. Okay? Not just any people, but you're never ever alone. Having said that, because I see this sometimes on Facebook in groups, and I want to say this with love. Good morning, Drea. I want to say this with absolute love. But if you find yourself in a Facebook group or in a group of friends where it's a woe is me group, you need to get the heck out of there immediately. Let me be abundantly clear about that. Yes, people understand you're never alone. But when we take a bunch of sad, sick, scared, stuck in the dark people and we put them together, what do you think is going to come from that? More sickness, more scarcity, more death, depression, darkness, fear, lack. Okay? Okay. I think y'all get that. Give me a couple of thumbs up if you understand where I'm going with this here. Give me a couple of thumbs up if you understand where I'm going with this. So again, you're never alone. But it is up to you, now that you understand yourself, you are learning to see your shadow, to illuminate your shadow, to give your shadow love, to heal, unconditional love. This ain't just any kind of love. This isn't well, when you do this, then I'll love you like that. No, we love ourselves unconditionally, good, bad, or indifferent. And when we begin to do that, then we can begin to those parts that we've been hiding, those aspects of self. Good. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. We can begin to integrate them into ourselves. Okay. So, sorry, I know I'm shifting around a lot. So again, what I really want to focus on is understanding that you have already come from the place of darkness. All right. You can see the light, and now it is a conscious choice as to what you choose. Do you choose to continue to dwell in the shadow? Or do you choose to move to the light? And again, remembering this card, our overcoming difficulties, Archangel Jeremiah, this is the card that represents your strength. And what does it say in particular? The worst is now behind you. You are surmounting any previous challenges. So here's the thing I want to, and again, we've got the Phoenix rising. But the thing I want to speak to that in particular is you may still physically see the challenge around you. Remember Steampunk Priestess? But we follow our divinely guided intuition to know that we are surmounting it. We are surmounting it. And guys, that's how you truly start to recognize strength within yourself. When you can see the obstacle, when you can see the challenge, and you can be like, I'm stepping up. I'm surmounting it. Okay? That is your strength. That is not your strength. That is no longer the thing that is holding you back. That challenge, surmounting it, is your strength. You have that within you. The worst is already behind you. Quit looking back. Move forward. All right? Understanding again that this is the card that supports your life. You have gifts from God. We angels bring gifts from your Creator. Open your arms. In this case, open your heart to receive them. And again, something that supports your happiness, your life happiness. You're safe. I am protecting you against lower energies and guarding you, your loved ones, and your home. You're protected. And He's guarding you, your loved ones, and your home. And look at that. Look at that sword. It's on fire. Archangel Michael, y'all. Archangel Michael is fierce. He does not play. Call on him anytime. Anytime. And again, a restriction. We're going to start breathing, focusing on our breath work. A lot of times people are learning to meditate. One of the first things you learn when you're learning to meditate is to focus on your breath. And in particular, Archangel Raphael is telling us, take several deep breaths. This isn't something where we just go, all right, I'm done. Several deep breaths and exhale slowly to awaken your energy and to release old patterns. So those old patterns are old energy patterns within your body. They're old thought patterns. They're old feelings. Because again, now that we're moving into a place of surmounting, right? And we know that we're safe, we can release those old insecurities. We can release those old fears. All right, Drea says, is there a difference between asking for pity and asking for support? Or yes, excuse me, there is a difference between asking for pity and asking for support. And you're absolutely right. And the thing about that is oftentimes, if we're not careful, that support quickly turns to pity. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. This is so not ladylike. Oftentimes, if we're not careful, and if we're not guarding ourselves, other people's low vibrations, low vibrations are the common denominator, right? It's easy to be down here. It's hard to get up here. Okay? I won't say it's hard. I'm sorry. That is an absolute falsity. Is that a word, falsity? It's erroneous. That's a lie. I'm just chuckling. My aunt, she has this thing. It's a joke. She'll be like, you a lie and your breath stank. So that's a lie and your breath stank. No, it is not difficult to be up here. It is. It takes more effort and it takes more maturity and more growth to get up here and to maintain it. Down here is the lowest common denominator. So we want to make sure that if we are in those places, in those situations, that we are using our divine protection and guidance to protect us from those lower energies. Some of us are called right now. Yeah. Some of you who are listening right now, your light's shining bright. But you're like, why am I surrounded with this? Your light's shining bright because, number one, you've already overcome it. Right now, your mission, your job is to shine your light, help shine your light in the place of darkness so other people can see that there is a light and help them to find their own light. Okay? Some others of you, y'all are being directed to get the heck out of there. It is not for you. Okay? And what I really feel is you know who I'm talking to. You know which group you belong to. Okay? Let's keep moving. Message from your heart. Passion, Archangel Haniel, and y'all know I just love this card. I mean, it's just a gorgeous card. And I'm a real kind of mixy-matchy person. I don't always like to match all the time, so that's one of the other reasons I like this card. Sorry. I've got a big background, so it's not really focusing like I want it to. Trust and follow. Trust, number one. Then follow your renewed passion in your love life and career. And the keyword, one of the keywords here, obviously trust, follow, but renewed. So this is something that's been with you, that's been, in your mind, in your heart for probably obviously a long time, because it's a renewed passion. If it was brand new, it'd be a new passion, right? But this is something that you were excited about, and then maybe kind of life beat you up a little bit. Now you're starting to be like, I think I can do that again. I'm seeing a way. I actually have an opportunity. Trust and follow it. Trust and follow. Remember, you've got gifts from God that are waiting for you. You're surmounting the challenges. And I want to, got you. Okay. Thank you, archangels. This renewed passion, okay, you still might be seeing some challenges to it. But because you are now the new you're in the fertile soil, now you can overcome those challenges. You can surmount them. Those challenges aren't things that are going to hold you down, but they're going to propel you forward. Have you guys seen the movie Wonder Woman? I actually just watched that again last night. I really love that movie. And one of the things that I just saw in my mind with this, in the movie Wonder Woman, there's two times in particular, at the very beginning and then towards the end when they're in war. And they say, Diana's mom says, shield, And what happens is the chick puts her shield up, and Diana's mom comes and like jumps on the shield, and it propels her forward. And she like flies into the air, and then she turns around in the air and shoots like 3 arrows and kills 3 of the bad guys at once. Right? So really what I'm seeing is that shield is like the obstacle. You're seeing the obstacle, but now, oh my gosh, now that you are, now that you're in a place of overcoming, of surmounting, you run up on top of that obstacle and kind of springboard forward, right? You are surmounting the obstacle. That obstacle that once was an obstacle is now the very thing that is going to be propelling you forward. So when you see it with these eyes, don't freak out. Trust your divinely guided intuition. Trust and follow your renewed passion. Oh my goodness. Goosebumps. I'm sorry. I hope y'all have seen that movie because it's freaking amazing. And again, it happens again at the end where, again, Diana's just propelled forward, and she goes and like with that strength, is able to go and bust through the tower and like kill the bad guys, and save this little town. So again, the very thing that could be in the past that was kind of daunting, now it's your springboard. So when you see that challenge, get excited because you are surmounting it. All right? Message from your guides. Brilliant idea. So you're asking, man, is this that renewed passion? Is this what you're talking about? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Your idea is divinely guided. Divinely guided. Divinely guided. Your idea is divinely guided. Please take action. And this is something interesting that I love about this. Your angels, God, you have free will. Please, they're asking you. That's almost a beg. Please take action to bring your idea into fruition. Don't just be like, yay, I'm so excited. I'm meditating on it. Take action. Start with what you can. Do with what you have. Work with what you already have. And as you hold that vibration, remember we've been talking about the electromagnetic field. As you hold that vibration and you emanate that out into the world, you will by default attract the things that you need to help support and bring it about. But you must first take action. You must first take action. And then finally, message from our heart. Teaching and learning. Teaching and learning. Archangel Zadkiel. Keep an open mind and learn new ideas. Then teach these ideas to others. Keep an open mind. Number 1, keep an open mind. Number 1, keep an open mind. As you're moving through this renewed passion, as you're exploring this brilliant idea, for some of you, it's kind of like, man, in the past, I tried this and it just didn't work. Keep an open mind. Okay? Maybe there are other ways of doing things. There are often times where we grow up with a belief system. And that belief system can sometimes keep us in the confines of right here. I gotta stay straight and narrow on the path. But we miss all of this. Okay? So, belief systems are not bad by any means. Not knocking them at all. What I would say to you is to keep an open mind and understand that God created all of this in all of us. And it doesn't necessarily serve us to ignore certain aspects of it, okay? So keep an open mind, and as you learn these things, teach them to others. Again, it does not need to be in a formal setting. Teach them to others. So guys, one of the things that the messages that we've just really been getting, and I want to come back here. Oops, Drea, let me see what she's saying. I do this with my children for their anxiety. Helps so much. Yes, breathe and focus. Yes, and teaching your kids that now, think about what a huge service that is. I mean, if I would have learned that as a child, I might have not encountered some of the heartache and personal destructive thoughts and behaviors, that I did as a young adult, a teenager, young adult, and even as a now adult. But learning to breathe and control. focus and breathe. It really isn't always about the control aspect. It's about the focus and breathing. So again, teaching and learning. And Andrea, that's a prime example right there. You've learned this in your life, and now you're teaching it to your children, who will then take that forward in their lives. It will start to become second nature to them. And then imagine when they're out in the world with their friends as they get older and they begin to have their own families, teaching that to their children, who then go further and further and further. I mean, it's an amazing thing, guys. And again, this teaching and learning, I just really want to stress, this doesn't have to be formal. You could be teaching in your Facebook posts. I find that some of the posts that I learn the most from are people who keep it real. In terms of, man, y'all, I was really going through X, Y, and Z, but then I decided that I had to A, B, and C, and now we have, L, M, N, O, P. So it's not that you have to put your business in the streets. You have to tell everybody what you're doing. But really, it doesn't have to be a formal setting. Just in your simple way of being, just in your speech pattern, just in the way that you act, the way that you move throughout the world. You are teaching. People are learning from you. Remember, science proves that humans and animals can feel, their nervous systems can feel the electromagnetic fields of others. Okay? So again, the big thing that we're getting, I really want y'all to focus on, because we're moving into eclipse season. And thank you, God, you really just brought that back into my mind. We are moving into eclipse season. Number one, Leo all day. I used to not get Leos at all. I thought they were pushy. I thought they were arrogant. I had just certain vibe toward Leos, ugh. But what I learned was, Leo, that lion, that courage, that roar, right? We all need a little bit of roar within our lives right now. That is here for us. Take advantage. Use that roar to that obstacle as a springboard to propel you forward. Now is the time to, again, get bold. Use that courage within to go shed the light on the shadow and overcome it. It can no longer hurt you. The worst is behind you. The only way it hurts you is if you allow it to, is if you make that choice. And again, remembering, guys, that we have everything that we need within and without. We're completely protected. We're divinely protected. What we need to do is focus our intention. We need to breathe deeply, get into that breath work. Get into that breath work. Get into that breath work meditation, and release those old patterns, release those old thoughts, release those old habits, release the crap. Just like I used the example of the constipation with deep breathing. You got to release the constipation of the mind and the constipation of the heart. Sorry to be gross, but we got to release those old patterns. It is right now, it's a restriction. And as we begin to release those things, again, our hearts open, we can open up our arms to receive all that there is for us. Trust and follow your renewed passion. This whole message and all of the messages really over the last few weeks have been about getting back to your authentic self, getting back to the original you, getting back to who you are. Again, I always use the example that sometimes we want to be here, or we're here, but we want to be here. Now is the time. I want to stress this. I want to be very clear on this. Now is the time to reinvent yourself. It doesn't matter about what other people think, because the fact of the matter is, people admire that. It takes a strong, courageous person to come in and be like, you know what? I didn't like the way my life was going, but I choose to be different. I'm going to be different. First, they ask why. Okay, I'm not sure why all of a sudden you do that. Then they ask how. Let me tell you something. I had to call a friend the other day to get some legal advice. And I was like, hey, we're structuring our business. We're doing some things. What do you suggest? And, we got to talking. And so at the end of the conversation, I was like, man, I haven't seen you in a long time. And he goes, you be on that spiritual stuff, but that's what's up. Because the last time I saw him, we partied hard, like stupid hard. Like, oh my God, it took me 3 days to recover hard. And then all of a sudden, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. The heck for? And literally, it's been months and months and months and months and months. And he was like, man, all of a sudden you popped up on that spiritual stuff. He was like, but you know what? That's what's up, though. I respect that. Now, this is not the person who I would have expected to say, I respect that. So what I'm saying to you, y'all, is when you make the commitment within yourself and you change that vibration within that's emanating from your heart, because again, it powers our electromagnetic field. We've talked about this scientifically over the last few weeks. So as you begin to do so, other people feel it. And again, we've said this, a couple of things happen. They will either rise to match you or they will fall away. Because you are protected from lower energies. You, your household, and your loved ones are protected. All right? So now is the time. Work with the energy that's here. Okay, so why did I bring up eclipse season, right? So I brought up eclipse season because eclipses tend to denote a time of ending, a closure. All right? So we want to start preparing ourselves now. Start releasing these old energies, these old habits, these old patterns now. We want to start releasing them now so that when eclipse season comes, whew, we're starting fresh. We're starting new. Hold on. God, is there anything else you want from that? I'm just hearing release old patterns now. Work with the season that's here. Don't wait for others to do it for you. Don't look external, look within. That's a huge point. So oftentimes, I'm sorry guys, I'm just checking my phone to make sure we don't have any comments. And if you do have questions, comments, by all means, let me know. So many times we look outside of ourselves for the answers, right? Well, God told me things are changing, but I still see these same stupid people and I'm still in this same situation. The fact of the matter is, you got to change in here first. And as you change in here, by default, you start to change the physical matter around you. How many times have we talked about we are divine creatures of creation? But some of us don't recognize that we're creating at all times, and we be creating things that we don't like. Look around you. You created that. Look at every relationship within, around and within, even within yourself. It's not to say that it's good or bad. We're not looking at it to judge it and harshly and to look at it and to recognize what is out of balance, what needs healing. Okay, now that we know what's out of balance and we know what needs healing, now we must act. We must do so. We receive unconditional love to give unconditional love. We open up our hearts to receive the gifts from our creators. We breathe to release the old patterns. You are a new being. That's what I'm hearing. You are a new being. You've been planted in fertile soil. We've been talking about this for about a month and a half, 2 months now. Really since before I started going live on my personal page. In the group, for those of you who've been in the private group with me, we've been talking about this for months, since springtime. And I'm in Iowa, and the Iowa State Fair is coming up, so that marks the end of summer. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, that absolutely marks the end of summer. I'm really salty. I'm going to miss that, by the way. But what I'm getting at is we've been told over and over and over and over and over. And guys, what I love about this is we've gotten messages a lot over the last several months that told us in particular, back in the springtime, we were told in the springtime, things are going to start to be renewed. Things are going to be refreshed. Then we got cards specifically from our fairies that told us in the summertime, things begin to bloom. You're going to start to see things come into fruition. Some of you are seeing things come into fruition, not necessarily in your physical world, but within and within your minds and your ideas and your thought patterns and the way that you process things. And then we were told in the summertime, things were going to bloom. They were going to come into fruition. We were told in the fall time, that is what? What is fall time, y'all? That's our harvest time. That is our harvest time. But we got to be in that field working, right? We got to be in the field of the shadow within our heart. We've got to be doing the work. We've got to be tending the soil. Otherwise, the weeds come and take over. We've got this beautiful, fresh, fertile soil. We need to make sure that we are weeding the garden, because weeds love fertile soil just as much as fruits and vegetables and the beautiful things that we're trying to harvest, right? And then we were told in the wintertime, it comes to completion. And just like nature, again, we are not separate from this earth. Just like nature, winter marks the end of the cycle, where the ground goes, quote unquote, depending on where you're at, kind of goes dormant and prepares itself for spring again. We are not separate from that. We are the same. Do y'all have any questions? Does anybody have any questions while I'm kind of going on and on about this? I want to make sure that it makes sense. So I want to stress. Do the work now. Don't just watch the daily readings and be like, oh, I feel so charged up. That's awesome. And then go back to what it was that you did yesterday or the day before or the month before. Do the work now. Focus within yourself now. Do that deep breathing. What I'm hearing is someone wants to know about breathwork meditation. If someone has questions about breathwork meditation, give me a couple of thumbs up so I can make sure to talk about that. But I want to, if y'all do know what that means, or you are comfortable, or you have done breathwork, get back into it. And really, that's calling to me too. I do my daily devotion, so to speak, my meditation every day, but I haven't really been doing breath work like I was doing. And let me tell you, breath work is amazing. What I will tell you is during breath work, whatever comes up within you, allow it to come up within you. You may feel so joyful and so happy and so bubbly, but then you're like, why do I feel like crying? Doesn't matter. You're releasing. You're releasing. For different people, it comes out in different ways. Don't judge it. Who cares? Get rid of it. Release, express, feel. Some of you haven't had that deep inner laugh in so long that you start laughing and crying at the same time, because once you start feeling that inner joy, that deep inner joy, not the comedy movie on TV, but that deep within, that renewed passion, it sometimes brings up a lot of emotion with it. So you find you're like, I'm laughing and crying at the same time. Be with it. Don't judge it. Let it flow as it needs to flow. For some of you, it may bring up old feelings of fear and insecurity and lack. It's okay. Okay? We're not hiding and suppressing those things, because again, then we push them back down into the shadow. That's not what we want. We want to bring it to light so that we can see and understand. All right. So I'm not seeing any thumbs up. I will talk a little bit more about breath work itself. Oh, okay, God. So let me finish this thought. We allow those things to come up so that we can encounter them. We can understand, okay, where is this coming from? Wow, you know what? This situation did happen, and it did leave me feeling like X, Y, and Z. But now I understand. Now that I have learned, now I can learn the lesson and let go of the hurt and the pain. Now I can use that challenge to springboard me forward. What once beat me down is now the rock I stand upon and propel forward, right? Okay, so again, allow those feelings to flow. The feelings, the quote-unquote negative feelings that come up, just recognize that it is energy. You don't have to claim ownership to it. Allow it to flow, and as you do your slow exhalation, allow it to flow out of you. Okay? Do I talk about, okay. I don't want to talk about this because I don't know if it'll make sense, but I'm being directed to talk about this. All right. And then I'll go more, I'll talk a little bit about breath work. So this is a kind of sidebar. Sometimes, you guys ever know when you feel emotion, you usually start to feel it in your gut. Maybe you feel it in here, especially when it's something like crying. You feel it come in and it works its way up. Sometimes those feelings feel stuck. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to use your imagination. And when you're imagining, and I actually learned this years and years and years and years and years and years and years ago in massage therapy school. And at the time, you know, I just did it because that's what they said to do and it worked, but I didn't really understand energy. I did energy work, but I didn't really understand it. I knew it was powerful because I could feel things, but I didn't get it. Anyway, neither here nor there. I want you to use your imagination. And I imagine like a big ladle or a big scoop. When you feel that emotion and maybe it's stuck and you're just having a hard time releasing it, imagine your breath coming in and your breath forms into a big ladle and it scoops it up, that emotion, and maybe it can only bring it to here. And then you have to take in another deep breath, another big ladle. And then when you, and maybe you keep moving it up. Feel it coming up and out. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense for some of you. Feel it coming up and let it go out. Okay, so breathwork meditation. I'm going to give you a quick, simple, easy breathwork meditation that I have to give credit to. Oh, gosh. What is his name? I'm going to look this up real quick, guys. And what I will try and do is, it won't be until I get back to Texas. What I will try and do, Joanne, give me a hot second. I'll come right back to you. What I will try and do is record a breathwork meditation. But again, it won't be until I get back to Texas. So for those of you who are familiar with your chakras, and we're going to work just with 1 through 7 for now. Eventually, we'll work our way 1 through 15. But we're going to work just with 1 through 7. And the reason I say that is because if you're not familiar with chakras, that is something you can easily Google. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? So what I imagine, I start with 1 and work my way up. You kind of want to go into your quiet space. Take some deep breaths, relax your mind. And what I start to do is I start to imagine whether I'm, on the 5th floor or whether I'm sitting in the grass. I just imagine, roots coming out of my feet. And they're working their way through the floor, through the concrete, into the dirt. And they're working their way down to earth, down to the middle of the earth. And then when they get to the middle of the earth, they kind of grip, right? We're just going to ground ourselves for a minute, okay? And again, use your imagination. Your imagination is what powers everything. All right? That's what powers your creation, guys. That's another story for another day. So just use your imagination. Don't judge it. Just see your feet growing roots down into Mother Earth. So we're going to ground ourselves, all right? Then the next thing we're going to do is I imagine this pure white divine light coming in through my head. As I take a deep breath in, it pours in, and I stop it right here at my heart. And I hold it here for a couple of breaths. And then I take another deep breath in, and I push it down to root, to our first chakra, right? I push and I hold that energy there. And I take a couple of deep breaths there. And what you'll start to find is you'll just start feeling. I imagine the color red because that is the color that is associated with that chakra. And what you'll start to find is, okay, yeah, it feels like it's flowing. It feels like it's moving. You'll know whether or not it feels stuck or whether it's moving. Trust your divinely guided intuition. You can't mental this, guys. I'm Virgo. I mentalize everything. You can't mental your way through this. Trust your intuition, right? When you feel as if you're ready, your intuition will let you know. Go ahead and move. We're gonna again on your last breath, blow it out. And then we're going to do the same thing again. We're coming back here. We're taking a deep breath in and we're imagining this pure divine white light coming in through our crown. And we're going to hold it at our heart for a couple of deep breaths. And then we're going to move it to 2, right? We're going to hold it at our sacral chakra. We're going to visualize the color orange. We're going to take some deep breaths and just feel that energy flowing within that chakra. And again, your intuition will let you know when it's ready, when that chakra is open. You're going to blow it out. We're going to start again. That pure divine white light pouring through your head, holding it at your heart, moving it to your solar plexus. Now I'll tell you, me personally, this one usually takes me a little bit. Guys, oh man, I have a chakra course that I need to put up. It's done. It's actually, yeah. Okay, I gotta get busy when I get back to Texas, right? So I'm gonna have some awesome things for you guys come Tuesday. It's just a basic chakra course, so you can understand what your chakras are, what they represent, which areas of the body. Because understand that our chakras are also associated with glands within the body. And when we can activate these glands and stimulate them, not only does our spiritual realm go amazing, but our physical bodies do as well. So give me a hot second. I'll circle back. We'll come back to that. But again, we're holding here. It may take longer. It may be faster. And again, we release. Once we feel we're ready to move, and just keep breathing until it opens. And you'll feel the opening. I can't describe it for you. It will be unique unto you, and you'll know. You'll know. Just trust that little quiet voice in your mind. Not the one up here going, what the heck are we doing? This is so weird. Am I doing it right? Is this right? Am I doing it right? Is this right? This one back here in the center of your head where you're like, all right? And you're going to, same thing. You're going to hold it. This time you're going to hold it in your heart. We're going to visualize the color green. Once it opens, release. Deep breath in. We're going to hold it at our throat chakra and see the color blue. And we're going to open it. When it opens, coming back here. Okay? You guys get the point. Now, once you've got all these chakras open, what you can begin to do is just allow that pure divine light to not only flow down to your root, but it's going to flow all the way down to your feet and into the earth. And then when you're coming in, down into the earth. And when you breathe back in, guess what? You're going to get the energy from the earth and you're going to send it back up. And you're going to start to move the energy, that pure divine energy throughout your entire body. Okay? You're going to see some amazing things happen. You're going to feel the release of the old patterns, the old thoughts, the old fears, the old ish that's been hiding in the shadows. You're going to start to release those things. Okay, so I'm going to shift gears and I want to come look at Joanne's question here. Joanne says, yes, how can I hear this from the beginning? I'm having volume issues. Okay, Joanne, so what will happen is as soon as I am done with this, the video will post. It'll take probably about 2 minutes and it will post. And we are also live streaming on YouTube, so I will shoot you the YouTube link. I'll send you a PM with the YouTube link. Just give me about 10 minutes after we're done to get that going. And you said, do you have a good detoxification regimen? Joanne, one thing that I will tell you is that your body is a natural detoxification regimen, okay? The problem is that we keep feeding crap into our bodies and it gets overloaded and has a hard time detoxifying. So your best detoxifying regimen is to stay out of pills, okay? Don't go to the store. Don't spend any money in addition, outside of your normal, groceries, but start getting back to the fruit of the earth. Here's the thing, guys. Your body was divinely, it was what they call an intelligent creation, right? You came from a single cell. Your body grew you. It knew where to put hair. It knew where to put skin. It knew how to form the heart. It knew how to form the lungs. It knew how to form the kidneys. It knew how to form the brain perfectly. The problem is, man, in our complete arrogance, we move away from nature trying to fix nature. Think about that. If man disappeared on this earth, nature would absolutely take... Here's a better example. Don't mow your lawn for 3 weeks. What happens? Nature takes over. Your body knows how to correct and heal itself. But in our arrogance, we go and try and do something else. Give your body exactly what it needs, and it will heal itself. We see this in cancer patients. People who say, I'm stage 4, screw your chemotherapy. I'm going completely raw. I'm not saying you have to eat raw. That's obviously an extreme case, right? When we're talking about cancer, we're talking, an extreme acidic level. So they go extreme alkaline to balance that. Sidebar, your body does not want to be alkaline. You heard it here. Your body does not want to be alkaline any more than it wants to be acidic. Your body wants to be in balance. Okay? So I'm sorry. I get really frustrated when I hear people talking about, I'm trying to be alkaline. Okay, so ammonia is alkaline. Would you drink ammonia? That's one of the highest alkalinities. It sounds pretty stupid, doesn't it, when you put it like that? Your body wants to be in balance. Strong enough for a man, but pH balance for a woman. All right? So again, guys, so your body is a natural detoxification system. When you put natural things into it, by default, it will begin to correct itself. We see things like cancer cells. A lot of times they are nutrient and oxygen deprived. And when we begin to feed them nutrients, guess what? It's not that we have to go radiate and kill them. They actually begin to revert back into healthy functioning cells. Cancer is, yes, it's sad, and yes, it's tragic, but it is amazing in the sense that it is the body's will to survive. The body mutates itself in an attempt to survive. But when you go back to giving it what it needs, guess what? It goes, okay, I don't have to go into survival mode anymore. I can go back into thrival mode. We don't want to survive, we want to thrive. The second thing to that is understanding that our negative thoughts and feelings are just as toxic to the body as drinking that ammonia or drinking bleach or drinking booze every day, right? Those things are just as toxic. Just as toxic. We understand that stress, how it affects the body. We see people who have been chronically stressed. We see them and we think, wow, she's had a hard life. Wow, look at those wrinkles. Wow, they went gray young. By the way, a lot of times gray is like a deficiency of copper, but that's another story. And a few other key minerals. A lot of people can change their hair color back naturally through their diet. I want to be abundantly clear about that. So guys, when we start focusing on taking in not just the food, the spring water, not the purified water. And we've talked, if you've been in the private group, we've talked about this in the past about structuring water and speaking to our water, understanding the science behind that. Prayer is not just a haphazard religious thing, okay? Because remember, what you speak, you create. You are sending out literal scientific vibrations. I'm not talking in religion. I'm talking science to you now. Provable science, all right? So taking in the deep breathing. A lot of us breathe very shallow. But getting that deep breath in. Our bodies need oxygen. It's another way you also burn fat. Okay, Chuen says, no ever says, I don't want to walk. I want to walk. Exactly. And I'm assuming that's no one ever says, I don't want to walk. I want to walk. So the key thing here, guys, is understanding that total wellness is mind, body, and spirit. You could eat all the right foods. You could exercise. But if your mental and spiritual health are out of sync or out of whack, guess what? Everything else is going to be out of whack as well. Period, point blank, end of discussion. If you're like, man, I'm trying to do these things, but I just can't seem to, you need to stop and take a life review. Look around. What is out of balance? You know what? I have been feeling lack in this area. I gave you guys the example. I was on a webinar last week with some big heavy hitters, some big time marketers, and I was trying to learn from them. And in my mind, I like to think that I don't have a lack-based mind. And I asked them, I said, so hey guys, when a client doesn't qualify for blah, 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 then do you send them to this program so you don't lose the lead? And they were like, Sharita, if they don't qualify, they don't qualify. What are you worried about losing the lead? That's a lack mindset. There are more leads out there. If they don't qualify, then you turn them to somebody who does work with them. You don't worry about holding on to this person who doesn't qualify and trying to create something for them. It was a lack in my mind that I hadn't realized. I was like, man, I'm trying to cling to things that aren't for me. Does that make sense, guys? I hope that makes sense. So let's do a quick chug-a-lug of some water. You guys know the deal. Anytime you see me say social, grab a glass of water, chug-a-lug, hit like when you're done. So let's social it up real quick. So one of these days, it is a very in-depth topic, but I do want to get into structured water. For those of you, there are a couple of you on here who are familiar with Minister Inky, and you know Inky is God of Water. That's actually what it means. And that is absolutely where his wheelhouse. So I am waiting, until he and I can have some time to actually sit down and talk and get more in depth with things. But I want to do an overview on structuring water. Again, there's a reason why we speak to our water, why we speak to our food. We structure it molecularly. This is why I stress, please do not drink purified water. Please do not drink tap water. It is dead, stagnant, chaotic water. We don't want to be putting dead, stagnant things in our body. Chemical laden on top of that. We want to be speaking life, putting lively things into our bodies. For those of you who I know there are a few of you on here who are familiar with vegan eating. I'm not telling anybody that they have to be vegan. What I will say is that if you do choose to eat meat, okay, it's your choice. But maybe work towards eating it as using it as an ingredient rather than as the main portion of the dish. But where I'm going with this is, for those of you who are accustomed to juicing or accustomed to doing true smoothies, not necessarily the powdered stuff, but I mean a true smoothie. It's amazing when you get done with that blender and you shut the blender off, you see it, you can hear it buzzing. And when you drink it, you get a literal buzz. You're like, woo, I feel awake. It even improves your mood because you're taking in live enzymes. So just understand, if you do choose to eat other things, I'm not here to judge. I mean, God knows I'm not perfect. And sometimes, I want some Captain Crunch. No, I'm teasing. But you know what I'm saying? There are times where, my husband and I may decide to go out for a beverage. I am definitely not perfect. I'm not going to sit up here and fake the funk either. Y'all know me too well to know I'm sure as heck not perfect. But what I'm saying is understanding when you're taking in those dead foods, when you're taking in those prepackaged foods, when you're taking in the cheese, when you're taking in the meat, that you're taking in dead enzymes, and now your very alive enzymes have to now work overtime to try and process that food. And now not only are they expending tons and tons of effort and energy into processing that food, but they're not getting anything back out of it. And this is how we start to break down our bodies. This is how disease starts to set in. This is how chronic conditions start to set in. And then you add the mental and spiritual component on top of that. And real talk, most people don't recognize this, but most things within the body started in the spiritual realm and manifested physically. As above, so below, as within, so without. Okay? And I bring that up because, again, guys, I want to come here real quick. What is a goddess? A goddess uses her knowledge of universal laws of nature. These are the things that we were just talking about. Structuring our waters, speaking kindness, speaking love, speaking abundance over our waters and over our water and over ourselves, our food even. Her conscious mind and esoteric powers to manifest her dreams. A goddess understands how to transform situations using her highest influence and to make her visions and dreams a reality. Let me repeat that one more time. A goddess uses her knowledge of universal laws of nature. Okay? She uses science. She uses her universal laws of nature, her conscious mind and esoteric powers, her thoughts, understanding how powerful your thoughts and imagination are. Your esoteric powers, your God-given abilities, your God-given powers to manifest her dreams. She understands how to transform situations using her highest influence. Remember, we've been talking about how the heart powers the electromagnetic field, and that electromagnetic field is directly felt by other humans and other animals. She uses her influence to make her visions and dreams a reality. I cannot stress this enough. Oops, sorry guys, I'm going to switch screens here. I cannot stress that enough. I'm sorry about that. So again, I really want you to understand that your thoughts, feelings, and actions, your mind, body, and spirit are creating your mental, physical, and spiritual world at all times. When you get in alignment with yourself, and I mean that, I know that sounds weird, but most people are not in alignment with themselves, let alone with their higher selves, with their divinity, with their God self. When you get in full alignment, then you begin to create. You begin you're always creating, but specifically you begin to create the things that you want. You begin to bring about the hearts or the desires of your heart, your dreams, all right? But it all starts with aligning mind, body, and spirit. Now that you know this, it's a choice. So, y'all, I want to go ahead and start to wrap up today. A couple of things. Again, you are always welcome to visit me at iamgoddesslife.com. Feel free to send me a message there. Thank you, Drea, who let me know that my form was not working last week. That was a big my bad. So the form on to request your free reading, again, at I Am Goddess Life, look at the top. You'll see free reading. Please go, you're welcome to fill out that form, and I do get that now. So I apologize to those of you who maybe submitted a request and it did not go through. Please do so again. If you want to leave a message, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise, just leave me your name and your email. I do ask that you leave me your email or your name, so that when I'm praying for you and praying, and doing our reading, for me, it just really helps to be able to put a name with it. But if not, no big deal. I understand. The other thing is, if you're looking at all of this and you're hearing what I'm saying and you're like, this is awesome, and I know and I can feel that I want to do it, but I don't know how, again, please visit I Am Goddess Life. What you will find at the top, towards I think it's the second tab, is coaching. I do coaching, specifically spiritual life coaching. And what we do in doing so is we take the time to work with your guides to figure out where it is exactly that you are in your life, what are the things, the restrictions, the obstacles that you need to overcome, and then how we start working on overcoming them. Again, according to you, there are some standard forms that I use or exercises that I use to help people to understand their thoughts and feelings, but overall, this is specifically tailored to you. What we will do is pull specific cards for you, because again, this is very individual. What works for me doesn't necessarily work for you. What works for her doesn't work for him, all right? This is I Am Goddess Life, as in the fact that I recognize that I am not separate from God, that I have all the God-given power and ability on this earth to create exactly what it is that I want, okay? Through my focused intention, all right? And then finally, maybe you don't want coaching, you just need some answers. You again, go to free reading, scroll to the bottom, and there you can actually schedule a full one-on-one reading session with me. Some people, and I think it's awesome, there are a lot of you actually who I've talked to and who I've been working with, where you're like, hey, I just want a weekly reading, and I want to be able to sit down with you and ask questions to my guides and get some clarity and direction. I don't necessarily want the coaching. I just want to ask questions. Okay, God, help me to understand. And so at that point, you can actually do a full hour, or you can get multiple sessions, whatever works easiest for you. So I love y'all. Let's social it up one more time. And again, chug-a-lug, give me a couple of thumbs up when you're done. Oh, excuse me. It's so nice to have tasty water again. What I found that was interesting, guys, by the way, that water that I had last week, I'm a water snob. This first couple days, it was dreadful, but I had to remind myself not to speak negatively over my water. And I started speaking with it. I started praying over it, and the taste instantly just, I was like, okay, yes, 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 I'm back. So again, I just want you to understand how powerful your thoughts, your minds, your imagination is, all right? I love y'all so much. I wish you an amazing, amazing Saturday. It is a little bit later than I intended. I was like, oh, I'll be 10, 15 minutes, I was thinking, but you know how it is. Please, if you missed our initial reading, we did a 7-card reading today. Please, 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 please go back and review it. But more than anything, remember, we are moving into eclipse season. Now is the time to let that ish go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. You're in new fertile soil. We don't want to be planting weeds in our beautiful garden, okay? We are in a 1 year. Things will continue to expand beyond here. Don't worry about this. Focus on your divinely guided intuition, all right? I love y'all so much. I wish you an amazing Saturday. And yay, we had some good internet today, so high five on that. I will see y'all tomorrow, possibly tonight. I don't know for sure, but I do want to have an opportunity for some to maybe do some free readings online. So we will do, if I'm back here and I can get set up, then we will absolutely do that. But in the meantime, have an awesome, awesome day, and I will see you guys ASAP. I'll see you for sure tomorrow. Bye.